Peace in Mandera. We must protect our border. That is the message to Nkesari. Olenkeo has been in Mandera for 7 months. We have not been feeling peace for the time he was here. We have this message for the national government. He's an appointee, not elected leader. An appointee must go if he's not delivering to the service of the people. We have one message for the President of Republic of Kenya, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta. The people of Mandera County voted 98% for you. You must appreciate that, and we give you ultimatum to visit Mandera and thank our people.
The National Anti-Corruption Campaign Steering Committee now wants corruption declared a national disaster and deterrent measures put in place to punish the corrupt. The committee has challenged the relevant authorities to take appropriate and decisive action against all those mentioned in corruption scandals and ensure lost funds are recovered. The committee's chairman, Archbishop Eliud Wabukala, has particularly urged President Uhuru Kenyatta to crack the whip and sack government officials implicated in corruption scandals.
We call upon the executive, particularly the president, to act so that people of Kenya are protected against those who want to derail his plans for development. Perhaps, my friends, I want to say, when we use the word corruption, we have used it so many times that it has been diluted. But in essence, a corrupt person is a thief. And so what these people are doing, they are stealing, they are thieves. And there's nothing honorable in being a thief. It's time now to declare corruption a national disaster. We have done so for AIDS. I think we need to declare this as a national disaster so that extraordinary measures are taken to stop corruption.
Now, the Devolution Forum, a multi-sectoral alliance convened by civil society organizations, has released a report on graft in the country. The report states that between 2010, when a new constitution was promulgated, and now there has been more than 12 graft cases in the Kenyan government. The report cites, among others, the 24.6 billion shilling tendering process involving the laptop project, the standard gauge railway tendering, the chicken gate scandal, as well as the 15 billion CCTV security network project, among cases that have plagued the nation and have never been fully solved. The report insists that the Jubilee government has done little to crack its whip on graft.
As these scandals have taken place, citizens have not been silent. In a number of situations, they have taken matters in their own hands because complicit authorities, to whom they should be able to turn to for help, have responded with inertia. The heroic response by children of Langata Primary School represents a situation where the authorities refused to act until children acted.
I heard the president talking tough about fighting corruption. We're waiting for action. Eventually, the talk becomes more and more hollow as it is repeated, because people begin to lose confidence in it. You don't want a dog in your house that is only barking but is not biting. So action is needed.
In Baringo County, Speaker William Kasait Kamket has this morning been reinstated by a Nakuru court after he was ousted through a public vote on Wednesday. Justice Stephen Radido issued stay orders against his removal pending a suit challenging his purported ouster following his removal. Kamket had appeared before Employment and Labour Relations Court in Nakuru seeking to hold the ouster and subsequent election of another county assembly speaker as advertised on a local daily on Thursday. Justice Radido ruled that the process by the assembly clerk to commence election of another speaker will be temporarily halted, considering the foregoing of the case and another case pending before Eldoret High Court challenging his suspension. His lawyer Kip Koechingetich argued that the move by the assembly to adopt a report by the ad hoc committee was unlawful.
Considering the action pending before the High Court,
all the issues that we are disagreeing on can be resolved amicably. We cannot disagree and then break the law and assume that we can get away with it. I do not want to serve as the Speaker for Baringo by force. But I want the law to be followed.
Now, speaking of the fight against corruption, let's now go to part 2 of the Graft diaries, our special focus on corruption as revealed by the Public Accounts Committee. Now, how would you picture a complete petrol station with its pumps and fuel tanks converted into office suites? Well, this was the case according to State House. The Public Accounts Committee found that State House officials claimed to have paid 85% of the cost of constructing a petrol station that was never even completed in the first place. In today's episode of Graft Diaries, KTN's Ian Wafula looks at the State House petrol station that never was.
Its sole purpose was perhaps to fuel and maintain vehicles attached to the president and his staff, but we may never know, as the intended workshop and petrol station meant to be put up within the confines of the state facility was never to be. In May 2011, a contractor was entrusted with the project at a price of 105 million shillings for a period of 1 year. A report by the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee reveals a rather disturbing finding, that not only had the project stalled just 1 month after it started, but also about 89 million shillings had been paid by the 30th of June 2013, 2 years and a month after the project stalled. That was 85% of the entire contract value for close to nothing in return. Assuming that the project went on and 85% of it was put up as per the payment, according to Rura, a development company, it would mean that at this point, some of the crucial elements for a standard petrol station would be up. For instance, one underground storage tank for each petroleum product provided at the station, dispensing pumps, which should essentially be covered, a service bay, washing bay, and offices for the station staff would be up and in place. The Public Accounts Committee found that none of this had been put up, but there's more. Neither had the contractor been issued with a default notice, nor had the process of recovering the settled payments commenced. Further, the report says that there was no evidence to show that the contractor had submitted a performance guarantee as required under the general conditions of contract, nor had the guarantee been recalled and discharged against uncompleted works. However, in a twist of events, the committee says that State House on its part claimed to have opted to convert the 85% of the construction of the petrol station into offices for the increased number of staff, begging a number of questions. How were payments of 89 million shillings made without the mandatory certification by the Ministry of Public Works as required? And how exactly would a petrol station 1 month into its construction be turned into offices? At the time of the payments between the year 2011 to 2013, 3 individuals had occupied the office of the State House Comptroller, from which State House budgets are approved. The committee recommended that the accounting officer responsible for accounting the irregular payments to the contractor without proof of work done be surcharged for the full sum of the public funds lost, and further disciplinary action be considered by the appointing authority and/or the Director of Public Prosecutions. Further, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission was invited to investigate the unclear circumstances of the construction of the project. As to whether the close to 89 million shillings will be accounted for, or whether investigations into the mysterious circumstances under which this money was paid will be investigated, is still a matter of great concern. However, Graft Diaries continue to inform you just how your money is working for you. Ian Wafula, KTN, Nairobi.
Now, away from Graft, have you ever met a matatu driver who knits? Well, maybe you have, but you've ever met one who does the knitting while in traffic on the road. Now, meet 40-year-old Martin Gitao, a matatu driver in Nairobi who has perfected the art of knitting and driving, 2 daily tasks that he performs in what seems to be a talent and a routine job blended together. Timothy Otieno with that interesting story.
Nairobi's commercial bus terminus is a hub of activity. But amidst the confusion, there is someone drawing the attention of his colleagues. Martin Gitao has been a driver for the Embasaba Matatu, plying the Jogoo pipeline route for about 2 years now. And he is not your ordinary Matatu driver. He drives and knits almost simultaneously. He does most of the knitting while stuck in traffic or at the bus stop waiting for passengers to either alight or board the bus. He began knitting while in lower primary during the home science lessons, a subject that has since ceased being taught in primary school.
Nilijifunza hata kupika chips, gari, kuosha masufuria. Yani ikakuwa ni kama kaingia kwa mwili yangu kama talanta.
It's an art that makes him stand out from the ordinary matatu driver, which has earned him respect among his peers.
Nimefanya na yeye kazi kwa mistari. Na ni mtu dedicated sana kwa kazi yake ya kufanya knitting. Kinyanza sana tukiamka asubuhi, tukiingia kwa parking. Kazi yake tu yeye ni kungangana mambo ya kutengeneza masuta yake.
Ule akifungua kakioski yake anakuwa sawa.
Having completed his studies in mechanical engineering at the Nairobi Technical Institute, he landed a job as a driver soon after. Martin calls his knitting skills more of a talent than a hobby.
Kwanza wanapenda sana wakiona akishona. Sana wasichana mimi naona wakicheka wale sana wanapanda mbele. Akiona amechukua siku zaka anaanza kusona naona wanacheka sana.
Martin's penchant for wearing shorts while on duty has earned him the moniker Wakinyasa. And in a good month, he makes about 5,000 shillings extra from selling the scarves he knits. It's an interesting and rather unique blend between a daily career activity and a childhood talent that Martin Gitao has been able to master over the years, each and every day he goes to work in the public transport industry. Timothy Otieno, KTN.
Amazing. Time for a break now, but when we come back, Michael Karanja will be in studio with the country director of GAIN, Adan Cabello, to talk about food security.
And welcome back to KTN Newsdesk. I'm Michael Karanja. Now, food security is one of those elements that the government has been religiously trying to accomplish and make sure that every Kenyan is food secure. But tied to food security is the element of nutrition. And just to help us break that down, I'm now joined by Adan Cabello, who's the country director of the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. Adan, food security, let's just start from there. Almost a quarter of Kenya's 40 million population don't have access to food. Now, how does that even fit into just being able to get something nutritional into our bodies?
Yeah, I think, Michael, you're right. 10 million Kenyans are in dire need of food any time of the year, and it's a major issue. And particularly in some parts of this country where we know food security is permanently a major problem.
Yeah.
And so how do we relate that to nutrition? You know, when people do not even have food to eat on a daily basis, then people might think nutrition is not an issue.
Yeah.
Yet when you see the levels of malnutrition in this country, it worsens that food security even more in those areas, because children from those affected communities are worse off even in the times of plenty,
yeah,
because they can't access the right food. So our role as Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition is, yes, let's encourage food production, let's encourage storage, let's encourage technology to improve food security.
Yeah.
But what food are we talking about?
Because you tend to look at food in terms of just a balanced diet when you're told to eat your proteins, your carbohydrates, with your proteins. But
yeah,
is that all that goes into nutrition?
Well, nutrition is a major problem not only in the poor but also in the rich.
Yeah.
And imagine the rich have access to all types of food, but the nutrition is about what you eat.
Yeah.
So your choice of what you eat determines your nutrition status. And so if you don't eat the right food, then you don't get the right minerals, then right nutrients in your body.
Yeah.
For instance, 1 in every 3 children in this country are said to be stunted, and that's a fact of statistics in the country.
Yeah.
That's a very high number. 35% are stunted, meaning that they can't grow mentally or physically to the level that they're supposed to be growing to because of lack of certain minerals, certain nutrients in their body right from when the development of the fetus.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That even the rich have problems in getting the right nutrients, even if they have plenty of food. So what we are doing is to educate Kenyans on what kind of food they should be eating. And there are laws in this country that can protect or have been in place since 2012 to ask industries who are producing food to make sure that they produce the right foods that are nutritious enough for the population of this country. We have the fortification law since 2012.
Because we have the National Food and Nutrition Policy. A policy that was passed about the same time.
Yes.
So how is GAIN as a champion for improved nutrition working, especially with industries? Because right now we always hear that the food that is being pumped out is more for commercial than anything nutritional. Then how then do you balance what is being produced in industry with what is being consumed?
Well, yes, GAIN is working with the Ministry of Health. We are working with the Kenya Bureau of Standards. We are working with the Public Health. First, to ensure that there is the industries that are producing food, particularly the staple food, maize, wheat, and oils. They carry the right minerals and vitamins in those stuff. So they are supposed by law to fortify with certain minerals and certain vitamins that must be in that in that package. So when you buy a packet of unga or a packet of flour, there's a label that is seen on that on that packet showing that this is fortified. Now, the other thing is about not many families buy their food from the shelves, from the shops. Some of them, they do not have even the luxury of buying varieties from anywhere. So what we do is we have something called the micro nutrient powders. These are the small sachets of this sort that each meal of a child, you can sprinkle on it the way you sprinkle salt or whatever.
This is for people mostly
it is for
areas.
children aged 6 months to 23 months. This contains 15 vitamins and minerals. So you don't worry about a child getting variety of food because all the vitamins and the minerals that are required in those varieties can be found in these sachets. These sachets are not available in this country in terms of production. It's imported. So we are working with industries to see if they can establish the production of these sachets available locally so that people can buy in the market.
Should it be, in the talks that you're having with government, per se, is it in discussion where we should actually, we have pharmaceutical companies that can be able to do this and actually come up with ways of actually, because there are people who are most affected, especially in vulnerable areas, then how then do we get such products to them?
Well, I wouldn't consider this as pharmaceuticals because these are not medicine. This is food. So it shouldn't be treated as medicine, but industries should be encouraged by way of, the government has many ways of motivating industries to establish themselves to supply this kind of products by maybe waiving tax on it, maybe giving them some tax holidays, so that industries can be motivated. But above all, I don't think it's a problem for industries to invest if they know there is a market. But Kenyans don't know about it. So who will buy when they establish here? So there's a lot of marketing, there's a lot of information, consumer education that needs to be done about this product. And it's a very simple thing that can help reduce malnutrition in this country. We're glad that the First Lady has just accepted to be the champion of nutrition in the country so that she can popularize the agenda for nutrition at all levels in the country.
Perhaps, Alan, if you round up, when you just look at it, I remember when growing up, nutrition used to be a huge element of a part of curriculum, especially in home science and all these things. Is that being lost, and is it being lost on people so that the conversation about nutrition and just not a balanced diet is also part of that conversation?
Absolutely. I think we have lost the discussion on nutrition in the bigger interest of food security. So we talk about food security without knowing about nutrition security. So this is very critical that we don't lose that debate. And I think it's a challenge to the media, to the leaders, and to the Ministry of Agriculture, particularly the Ministry of Health, to be jointly discussing about, yes, there is need for increasing food, but what kind of food are we talking about? So this is very critical discussion that needs to be kept alive. And I think with the entry of the First Lady into the discussion, this is going to get more limelight.
And how are you
future.
Perhaps angling yourself, just not for government, but also private sector participation in this subject?
We have there's something called the Scaling Up Nutrition, which is a global agenda for the world to improve the status of nutrition in the world. This is headed at the UN level by the Secretary General. In Kenya, it is being headed by the Minister of Health. Now, as civil society organizations, as business, as academia, there is a network of groups that have been formed to improve nutrition.
In terms of pulling those resources in to champion this nutrition. I don't have to cut you off there, but thank you very much for that discussion. That has been Adan Kebelo, the country director for the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition in Kenya, just telling us about the bigger picture where you're just not focusing on food security, but also what actually is going into the bodies, especially for those in most affected areas. Najma, what else do you have for us in news?
Well, before I go there, I will be coming for those souls in a few minutes. Moving on, a Japanese designer is challenging perceptions of beauty at Tokyo Fashion Week with an easy-to-wear collection unveiled on the catwalk by models with blindness, prosthetic legs, and a wheelchair. Here is more on that story.
Moment for fashion in Japan. Blind Paralympic champion Rina Akiyama is taking part in Tokyo Fashion Week, modeling in the show by Japanese brand Tembo. The label aims to make clothes that are accessible to everyone, people with and without disabilities.
This kind of fashion show is currently very rare. If opportunities like today steadily increase, I think it would be great. I'm very happy that I was given the chance to make this appearance on stage.
Rina is joined on the ramp by models with prosthetic limbs and by others who are able-bodied, emphasizing the clothes' universal appeal. The garments have easy-to-wear details from magnetic buttons to reversible jumpers.
We're introducing something called people's design. The clothes are aimed at everyone in the world. I think it's fashion's responsibility to have trendy and easy-to-wear clothing. So that's what we're proposing as our concept.
The show's finale strikes a touching note, with model Ami Sano appearing in a wedding dress. She was born with a rare disorder that left her without any limbs except a left foot.
There's still a wall in Japan between people with disabilities and everyone else. However, through events like this fashion show, we would like to send a message asking those people to meet us heart to heart.
The model's stint on the catwalk has gone down well with Tokyo's fashion world. But as well as bringing diversity to the runway, they hope they will help challenge prejudice on the ground.
Moving on to sports now, England now has no team in European football competition after Everton were comprehensively beaten in their last 16 Europa League tie by Dynamo Kyiv. First, it was Manchester City and Arsenal who were eliminated from Europe's premier competition. The Champions League and last night's Everton porous defence in Ukraine allowed the hosts to rain goals and eliminate their opponents 6-4 on aggregate. Romelu Lukaku's strike cancelled out Andriy Yarmolenko's wonderful opener, but Lucas Theodoris, Miguel Veloso, Oleg Gusev and Antunes scored before Phil Jagielka headed consolation. Everton's resounding 5-2 defeat in Kiev ends a dismal month for English sides in Europe, with Chelsea, Liverpool and Tottenham also knocked out. The Champions League and Europa League next phase draw will be conducted this afternoon in Switzerland.
Too worse for the Merseysiders as Olia Hussev scored Kiev's fourth. And Antunes completed the rout.
Oh, what a strike that is!
The World Football Governing Body FIFA has confirmed that the 2022 World Cup final in Qatar will take place on 18th of December. That is in line with the FIFA Task Force recommendation last month that the tournament should be switched from its traditional June-July dates to winter due to the excess heat in Dubai during summer. The decision to hold the final on 18th December means Britain's traditional Boxing Day club matches on December 26th can still take place.
4 years of speculation, the dates of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar have pretty much been set in stone. This was confirmed by FIFA's Director of Communications, Walter De Gregorio.
Based on the proposal of the task force chaired by Sheikh Salman, decided A, yes, we're going to play in November, December. B, yes, it will be played, the final will be played the 18th of December. It's a Sunday and it's also the national, the national day of Qatar. And yes, in principle, we try to play in 28 days. Now, next steps will be to have different talks, especially related to the international match calendar.
With an element of irony, considering the opposition to the selected host country, the final is taking place on Qatar's Day of Unification and Independence. FIFA, though, are certainly pleased to have put a full stop on the debate around the tournament.
It's a major step because finally we know and we can move forward. At least we know that the final will not be the 23rd or whatsoever. So time to make Christmas shopping and to go home.
The World Football Governing Body also confirmed the hosts of the 2019 Women's World Cup.
Now, Africa Junior cross-country champion Moses Mukono is sailing in unfamiliar waters this year. And maybe you are wondering why. This is simply following his transition to the senior ranks. Mukono's first test at senior level will be at the World Cross-Country Championships in Guiyang, China in just under 2 weeks. Although he admits he feels the pressure, Mukono says he's confident of a podium finish in China.
Moses Mukono has just transitioned to the senior ranks after a stint of impressive performances in the junior ranks. As he takes a stroll at the Kigali Teachers Training College, where the Kenyan team to the World Cross Country Championships is camping, his posture radiates confidence. He's ready to join the big boys league.
Yeah, it felt great for me, despite I got a lot of pressure, from everywhere. People expecting good from me. And so far I believe myself, I don't have injuries, and I believe myself to say I'm gonna do well.
In his last World Cross Country Championships in 2013, Mukono missed out on a junior title, but made amends at the Africa Cross Country Championships last year in Kampala, where he won gold. That was then, but now a bigger assignment awaits him in Guyana.
As a junior, I've been in school. I don't have enough time to train. Yeah, I was just feeling myself when I was just junior, yes, I'm talented and I can do it. And I still feel myself I'm talented. If I add my talent with my training, extensive training, I can do more than what I was doing as a junior.
After 4 years of juggling books and training, he completed his secondary school education last year, but he chooses not to discuss his KCSE results at a time when his athletic career is his priority.
Yeah, I perform well, but those are private part. You need to ask me about from media group. Yeah.
Mukono will join other experienced runners like Bidan Karoki, Leonard Barston, Geoffrey Kipsang Kamorol, among others in the 12 kilometers senior team, and the stakes are high.
People say you go and bring a gold. It doesn't matter you go and bring a gold. We call it a medal. You got a medal. It doesn't matter which kind of medal. You got a bronze, you got a silver. That's a medal. It's all kind we're going to appreciate. We have to get, but you must get into bracket of medals. That's what I'm expecting myself to do.
Kenya will go to the World Cross Country Championships without defending champion Japhet Koril, who was dropped from the team that's in residential training camp in Kigali, Embu. Lynn Washira, KTN.
Well, that's it on Newsdesk this afternoon. My name is Najmi Ismail.